Hi, and welcome to this live reading from One in a Billion, Pierce Brothers Book 3 by Belinda Williams, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1. Act like you're supposed to be here, Victoria told herself as the lift doors opened on level 17. An expansive reception area greeted her. The minimalist design was understated yet impressive. An overabundance of clean, crisp white featured in the marble floor tiles, the sleek curve of the reception desk, and the stark walls. It was balanced by the black accents of the windows, door frames, and leather lounge for waiting visitors. "Can I help you?" the young woman sitting at the desk asked. Her name tag read Candy, which seemed at odds with her businesslike appearance. She had elegant Asian features and brown eyes that examined Victoria from behind thick black frames. Her gaze was neither interested nor disinterested, more a practiced sort of professionalism. "I'm here to see Seth Pierce," Victoria said. Unreserved confidence was Victoria's strategy for this meeting. Not that there was actually a meeting scheduled with Seth. Oh, no, requesting an interview with Seth was akin to convincing leading skeptics of the existence of little green men from outer space. Near impossible. And believe her, she tried. She almost felt sympathetic towards alien conspiracy theorists now. Not that Victoria was going to let the small issue of not having a meeting stop her, not with her looming deadline. It might be self-imposed, but it was still looming, and now that she'd told her friend and co-worker Amy about it, there was no going back. Imaginary or not, a deadline was still a deadline. "You're going to quit a perfectly good job if you don't get the promotion by your 30th birthday? Isn't that a bit, I don't know, extreme?" Amy had asked, especially in this environment. It wasn't as though Victoria needed reminding about the depressing rate of unemployment for journalists in Sydney. No, what was extreme was only having worked in the one role since completing her degree. Writing the same mind-numbing, dumbed-down, quasi-newsworthy online articles that were supposed to be aimed at the modern woman, but instead made Victoria want to give up on being a feminist completely. So Victoria's 30th birthday was D-Day, and getting an interview with Seth was her best chance of succeeding. While Victoria's professional life flashed before her eyes, Candy consulted her computer. She flicked another glance across the counter, her dark gaze appraising Victoria's black pantsuit. Victoria tried not to squirm. She couldn't remember the last time she'd worn a full business suit. Had it really been 7 years ago when she'd been an eager journalism grad keen to land her first job? Victoria's current office attire mainly consisted of smart jeans paired with an array of fashionable tops, scarves, and jackets she could head to the pub in after work, and frequently did. Despite Victoria's hidden discomfort about the suit and her imposter status in the building, the receptionist nodded once. "Kim Brown, you're early, but we're grateful to the agency for sending you. Take a seat, and Seth will interview you shortly." Holy shit, Victoria had just been mistaken for someone else. Right about now would be the appropriate time to correct the receptionist's mistake, except whoever Kim was already had an appointment with Seth, and Victoria did not. An opportunity like this was almost too good to be true, never mind that she'd almost likely burn in hell for it. But even the prospect of an eternity in hell couldn't deter her. She was certain other journalists in her position would do the same. Seth Pierce was that notoriously private. "Thank you," Victoria managed, and attempted to walk calmly in her black heels over to the waiting area. She lowered herself onto the shiny leather seat, her mind whirling. Kim Brown, agency, interview. Well, at least it was obvious she wasn't Kim, to her at least, but to the woman behind the desk she was a candidate of some sort. Victoria cleared her throat and decided to let some of the nerves she was currently feeling show. At worst, Candy would assume that she had pre-interview jitters, rather than her being a journalist who wasn't particularly well practiced at deception. "So, are there many others going for the role?" Victoria asked her. The smarter person would have just kept their mouth shut, but Victoria couldn't resist the opportunity to obtain more information. Any information would be good. Candy typed something without looking up. "I'm not going to lie, there's been a lot, but I'm guessing the agency told you that after the first few rounds of interviews, we've been forced to reassess. Now we're just wanting an attempt to fill the role for a few months until he finds someone more permanent down the track." They did. Not. Victoria swallowed and wished like hell she'd thought to throw a bottle of water into her oversized handbag this morning. What exactly was the role? That would be helpful to know, seeing as she was about to be interviewed for it. If they'd conducted more than one round of interviews with no success, surely the job had to be for a specialist? Victoria seriously hoped they weren't after a technical IT person. She should just stand up right now, explain to Candy that there must have been a misunderstanding and that she was a journalist here to interview Seth, and promptly be thrown out. No, she would wait here and try to get in front of Seth while praying that the real Kim didn't turn up anytime soon. Then once she was in his office, she'd come clean. She'd probably still get thrown out, but by that stage she would have tried to get him to agree to an interview in person. I guess it's difficult finding people with the right level of experience. Victoria tried again, hoping she didn't inadvertently put her foot in her mouth. Despite the risk, the appeal of gleaning more information was too strong. Candy frowned slightly. Not really. I mean, there are plenty of executive assistants in Sydney. Finding one who has never heard of Seth before, on the other hand, that's the difficult part. Candy's brown eyes looked on Victoria's. Please tell me they briefed you on not making a big deal about who he is. Oh, of course. As far as I'm concerned, he's just another guy who happens to have an important job. All I'm interested in is getting some work, Victoria said, improvising. She experienced an instant sense of relief that she wasn't about to be interviewed for a technical role she wasn't remotely qualified for. This position was still a stretch, but at least it was believable. One of Candy's dark eyebrows rose. You'll be the first, but the agency assured me temps are different, so that's good to hear. Candy leaned forward, resting her elbows on the desk. Whatever you do, don't mention his billionaire status. Victoria shook her head. I wouldn't dream of it. Like I said, I'm here for a job. Candy nodded and settled back into her seat. Are you single? Victoria tried not to frown. This conversation was becoming more intriguing at every turn. Yes. Why? Better if you're in a relationship. Candy returned to her typing. I didn't realize it was a job requirement, Victoria said slowly. Oh, it's not. It will just make Seth feel more at ease. Women throwing themselves at him irritates him. That sounds extremely unprofessional to me, Victoria said primly. A female employee seeking her male boss's affections was beyond poor behavior in Victoria's books, and not remotely in line with her feminist ideals. For the first time, Victoria wondered if maybe the introverted Seth Pierce had an ego after all. It seemed a bit conceited to her that he was worried about his female staff showing a personal interest in him. Candy snorted, her professional image slipping momentarily. Wait until you meet him. It's hard not to. It must be possible. You still have a job, don't you? Victoria pointed out without thinking. For the first time, Candy smiled. Exactly. He catches you off guard, so be warned. If you think he's going to be some sort of boring tech guy, you'll be surprised. Victoria's reporter instincts were buzzing, so Seth had more personality than he was letting on to the public. Surely it couldn't hurt to fish for more details. She was here, wasn't she? And employee opinions on Seth were like gold. It would all help when it came to write her profile piece on him if she managed to convince him to do the interview. I've never been into tech guys, Victoria said casually. Candy leaned forwards on her desk again. Me neither, but seriously, he's not like that. Byron wears the suit and represents the business, but Seth hates all that stuff. Between you and me, he's happy being considered the brains, except he's not really shy at all. He's just a normal guy, you know? I think that's what makes him so attractive. A normal billionaire. Victoria wasn't convinced there was such a thing. I'm really only interested in securing some work, Victoria said. It was a complete lie, but it sounded like something a temp would say, and she was just starting to build a rapport with Candy. Here comes Angie now. Candy nodded at this glass window next to what appeared to be a door that led to the rest of the office. Angie is Seth's current PA. She finishes in 1 week, and it's down to you and only a few others at this point. Good luck. Victoria stood and nodded, smoothing her skirt with her clammy hands. Thanks. She was going to need it.